T-Bone Walker, Jimmy Reed, my favorite Ray Charles. My favorite Ray Charles.
At 75, Billy Gibbons has finally done something fans have waited decades for. He's revealed his personal list of the 10 guitarists who shaped his sound, his style, and his career. Known worldwide as the legendary guitarist of ZZ Top, Gibbons has spent a lifetime perfecting riffs, solos, and a signature tone that has influenced generations. For fans, his music has always carried a sense of mystery, mastery. Fez always carried a sense of mystery, massive mystery, mastery, and sheer rock and roll magic, but the names behind the inspiration have remained mostly private. Until now, this revelation is more than just a list of names. It's a glimpse into the mind of one of rock's greatest guitarists. Each pick reflects a story, a lesson, and a musical spark that fueled decades of creativity. From blistering solos to soulful phrasing, the choices reveal not only technical skill, but the emotional depth that has guided Gibbons' artistry. For those who have followed him for years, it's a rare opportunity to understand the roots of a guitar legend. Fans are already buzzing, dissecting each name, debating the order, and sharing memories of how Gibbons' sound shaped their own love for guitar. It's a moment that bridges generations, connecting music lovers who grew up with ZZ Top to those discovering the band for the first time. And for Billy Gibbons himself, it's a moment of reflection, pride, and acknowledgement of the artists who helped define the voice of his guitar. This list isn't just about influence. It's a celebration of rock history, musical genius, and the enduring power of mentorship through artistry. And once you see which 10 guitarists made the cut, it will completely change the way you hear Billy Gibbons play. Billy Gibbons' story begins long before ZZ Top made him a household name. Long before his signature beard, sunglasses, and top hats became iconic. And long before the world recognized him as one of rock's greatest guitarists. Born in Houston, Texas, Gibbons was drawn to music at a young age. The guitar was more than a hobby, it was a companion, a means of expression, and a pathway to understanding the world in his own language. He spent hours studying chord progressions, listening to records, and emulating the sounds that fascinated him, laying the foundation for a style that would eventually become unmistakably his own. His early exposure to music was diverse. From blues and jazz to early rock and roll, Gibbons absorbed every note, every riff, every nuance with meticulous attention. These formative experiences shaped not just his technical skills, but his emotional connection to the instrument. Unlike some musicians who chase fame, Gibbons' early years were defined by curiosity and dedication. He sought to understand the soul of the guitar and the musicians who wielded it. Even before he had a platform to showcase his own talent. By the time ZZ Top formed in the late 1960s, Gibbons had already honed a style that blended blues, rock, and a southern sensibility into something fresh and compelling. His riffs were immediately recognizable, his solos precise yet expressive, and his tone a signature that fans could identify instantly. Yet behind every note was a network of influences, guitarists whose work had inspired him, taught him lessons, and pushed him to explore new territories. For decades, Gibbons' admiration for these artists remained largely private, a well-kept secret shared only with close friends, fellow musicians, and the occasional interview. The rise of ZZ Top brought unprecedented attention, but it also allowed Gibbons to refine his artistry. Touring, recording, and performing under the bright lights of international stages tested his skill, stamina, and creativity. Every concert, every studio session, and every collaboration added layers to his musical understanding, but he never forgot the musicians who inspired him to pick up a guitar in the first place. These influences were not just technical, they were emotional, teaching him how to convey mood, tension, and storytelling through six strings. As Gibbons approached his 70s, the question of influence became more than just curiosity. It became a reflection of legacy. At 75, sharing the names of his 10 favorite guitarists is an intimate act, a way to honor the artists who shaped his sound and, by extension, rock music itself. Each name represents a teacher, a pioneer, or a spark that ignited decades of creativity. For fans, it's a rare glimpse into the foundation of Gibbons' artistry, showing that even legends build upon the shoulders of those who came before them. The significance of these influences goes beyond nostalgia. They reveal the continuity of music, the way inspiration flows from one generation to the next, and the deep respect Gibbons has for the craft. Understanding who shaped his style offers insight into the deliberate choices behind his riffs, his solos, and his tone. It explains why ZZ Top's music resonates across generations. It is both a culmination of experience and a tribute to the masters who paved the way. This moment, at 75, is not just about naming favorites, it is a celebration of artistry, history, and the mentorship that exists quietly in music. Gibbons' reflections remind us that every legendary sound has a lineage, and every iconic riff carries echoes of those who taught, inspired, and challenged the musician behind it. The list of Billy Gibbons' 10 favorite guitarists is more than just a collection of names. It's a journey through the sounds, styles, and stories that defined his own legendary playing. Each guitarist on the list represents a moment of discovery, a spark that influenced the way he approached his instrument, and a lesson in musical expression that he carried into every ZZ Top performance. For Gibbons, these influences were not just technical, they were profoundly emotional, shaping not only how he played, but how he connected with music as a language of the soul. One of the first names on his list reflects the roots of blues, the genre that has always been at the core of Gibbons' style. Early exposure to the raw emotion and bending notes of blues masters taught him that music is about more than speed or precision, it's about storytelling. Gibbons has often said that listening to these guitarists as a teenager felt like a conversation, a lesson in phrasing and feeling that he could never get from sheet music or formal lessons. Their impact is evident in his signature vibrato and the soulfulness of every note he plays. Rock pioneers are also prominent on Gibbons' list, representing the energy, creativity, and experimentation that would later define ZZ Top. These guitarists inspired him to push boundaries, explore unconventional techniques, and infuse performance with personality. Their influence can be heard in Gibbons' distinctive riffs, his ability to combine technical mastery with groove, and his flair for stage presence. Each choice reflects a personal story, a moment in a record store, a live concert, or a shared jam session that left an indelible mark on his development. Jazz and fusion players are part of the mix as well, demonstrating Gibbons' appreciation for complexity, improvisation, and musical intelligence. From intricate chord voicings to unexpected runs, these guitarists taught him that the guitar could be a vehicle for exploration and expression, far beyond traditional rock or blues. Their lessons helped Gibbons develop a versatility that allowed him to adapt, innovate, and maintain a sound that is both timeless and unmistakably his own. What makes this list particularly compelling is that it reveals the human side of inspiration. Each name represents not only mastery, but personality, mentorship, and the courage to innovate. Gibbons' reflections on these guitarists are filled with admiration, respect, and gratitude. He often recalls stories of hearing a particular riff for the first time and feeling a rush of possibility moments that confirmed he wanted to dedicate his life to music. These memories are as important to him as any technical lesson, because they shaped his love for the instrument and the emotional connection he shares with his audience. Fans are responding with fascination because the list bridges generations. Some names are familiar, some unexpected, and all are influential. Gibbons' choices illustrate that great music transcends eras, that inspiration can come from anywhere, and that even a legendary guitarist continues to learn from those who came before him. The revelation also invites reflection. Every guitarist, no matter how accomplished, carries forward lessons, riffs, and sensibilities from others, weaving a lineage of creativity that shapes the soundscape of modern music. This is why the moment at 75 is so significant. It's not simply about naming favorites, it's about honoring the past, acknowledging influence, and celebrating the mentors, heroes, and peers who shaped a career that has spanned decades. For Billy Gibbons, sharing this list is a rare glimpse into the foundation of a legendary sound, and for fans, it's an opportunity to understand the artistry behind the riffs that have defined generations. Billy Gibbons' reflections on his 10 favorite guitarists go beyond technical admiration. They reveal stories, moments, and lessons that shaped him as both a musician and a person. Each influence carries a memory, a late-night listening session, a record that changed his perspective, a live performance that sparked awe. These moments are etched into his playing, giving it the depth, emotion, and personality that fans recognize immediately. They show that artistry is not created in isolation, but emerges from the experiences, inspirations, and relationships that surround an artist over a lifetime. Many of the guitarists on Gibbons' list influenced his tone, phrasing, and stage presence. Some taught him subtlety, showing how a simple bend or sustained note could convey more than speed or complexity ever could. Others taught him experimentation, encouraging risk-taking and innovation that would eventually define ZZ Top's unique sound. Gibbons often emphasizes that these lessons were absorbed unconsciously at first through admiration, imitation, that these lessons were absorbed unconsciously at first through admiration, imitation, and fascination, but later became conscious choices that shaped his approach to performance and composition. The stories behind these influences are just as compelling. He recalls, for instance, the first time he heard a blues solo that made him feel something he couldn't explain. That feeling became a blueprint for his own emotional expression on the guitar. Another guitarist, known for inventiveness, taught him the importance of tone and gear experimentation, lessons that he applied throughout ZZ Top's career, contributing to the band's unmistakable sonic signature. These anecdotes provide insight into Gibbons' creative mind, demonstrating that technical mastery and emotional resonance are inseparable in great music. Fans have responded with fascination to the emotional depth revealed through these choices. It's not just a list, it's a map of mentorship, musical history, and personal growth. Each name illustrates the interconnectedness of artistry, showing how one musician's influence can ripple across decades and genres. Listeners begin to see that Gibbons' iconic riffs are not isolated inventions, but the culmination of decades of study, admiration, and refinement inspired by those he respects most. Beyond music, these influences shaped Gibbons' philosophy toward life and creativity. They instilled values like patience, curiosity, and the courage to follow one's instincts. By acknowledging them publicly at 75, he reinforces a timeless message: success is rarely solitary, and the recognition of those who inspire us enriches not only our craft but our humanity. These guitarists helped Gibbons understand that playing well is important, but playing with soul, intention, and emotion is what creates lasting impact. The list also serves as a bridge between generations. Younger fans, discovering the guitarists for the first time through Gibbons' perspective, gain a roadmap for exploration, while longtime fans gain insight into the foundations of the music they've loved for decades. Gibbons' choices celebrate musical lineage, showing that creativity is cumulative, and that honoring influences is a way of preserving history while inspiring future innovation. Ultimately, this chapter is about more than admiration. It is a reflection on gratitude. Gibbons' acknowledgement of these 10 guitarists demonstrates humility, respect, and awareness of the artistic community that shaped him. At 75, sharing this list is as much a celebration of connection as it is a revelation of personal taste. It highlights the profound impact of mentorship, inspiration, and musical dialogue, revealing that the artistry of one iconic guitarist is inseparable from the legacy of those who came before. As Billy Gibbons reflects on his career at 75, the revelation of his 10 favorite guitarists becomes more than a list. It is a celebration of musical lineage, personal growth, and the profound impact of inspiration. Each name represents not only technical mastery but also a lesson in artistry, creativity, and emotional expression. For Gibbons, sharing this list is an act of gratitude, an acknowledgement of the shoulders on which he has stood, and a reminder that even legends are shaped by those who came before them. The emotional resonance of this moment extends far beyond technical appreciation. It reminds fans that music is a conversation across generations, a dialogue of influence and creativity. Gibbons' reflections show how admiration can become mentorship, even indirectly. Every guitar riff, solo, and tonal nuance in his work carries echoes of the artists who inspired him. By sharing their names, he invites fans to trace those influences, to understand how musical innovation evolves, and to appreciate the depth behind every iconic ZZ Top sound. Gibbons also emphasizes the human lessons embedded in these influences. Patience, curiosity, and perseverance are recurring themes in his stories. The guitarists he admires weren't just technically brilliant, they were innovative, persistent, and fearless in following their own artistic paths. These qualities shaped Gibbons' approach, not only to music but to life itself. Each story he shares is a testament to the idea that creativity is cultivated through observation, emulation, and relentless practice. For him, honoring these musicians is both a personal reflection and a public acknowledgement of their role in shaping the broader landscape of rock and blues. The impact of this revelation on fans has been profound. Many are inspired to explore the works of the guitarists he highlighted, bridging generational gaps and creating a deeper appreciation for musical history. Others are drawn to understand the stories behind each influence, gaining insight into Gibbons' approach to tone, phrasing, and improvisation. This shared exploration fosters a sense of community, connecting listeners who may have never met but are united by the same passion for the guitar and the artistry it enables. At the same time, this moment underscores the enduring nature of influence. Gibbons' career spans decades, yet his continued acknowledgement of inspiration demonstrates that learning never stops. Even at 75, he remains a student of the craft, attentive to the techniques, sounds, and approaches that continue to enrich his music. This humility, paired with his extraordinary skill, cements his status not only as a legendary guitarist but also as a custodian of musical tradition. Ultimately, the list of 10 guitarists is a reflection on legacy. Gibbons' story reminds us that great music is never created in isolation. The riffs we admire, the solos that move us, and the tone that captivates us all carry the imprint of those who came before. By sharing these influences, Gibbons highlights the continuity of artistry, the chain of inspiration that passes from one musician to another, shaping not only individual careers but the evolution of genres, but the individual careers, but the evolution of genres, styles, but the evolution of genres, styles, but the evolution of genres, styles, and cultural expression. This revelation at 75 is both intimate and instructive. It celebrates the joy of discovery, the power of mentorship, and the emotional depth of musical influence. For Billy Gibbons, it is a moment of gratitude, reflection, and recognition. For fans, it is an invitation to explore, appreciate, and connect with the rich tapestry of guitar mastery that continues to inspire musicians and listeners alike. In the end, Billy Gibbons' musical journey shows that artistry is as much about honoring influences as it is about creating new sound. His 10 favorite guitarists are not just names, they are beacons, guiding the next generation, shaping the present, and leaving an indelible mark on the history of music itself.